All right. Now for a short one. 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 All right. All right. This is Sports for Real with Coach Hall. Been a few days since I've been on. Still trying to kick this weather, pretty much based on all this pollen in the air. Got allergies. I fight, but every time I think I got it beat, hit me with an uppercut to the jaw. And I have to bounce back from that, but I'll be okay. No big deal. Just got a few things to chew on today. Combine wrapped up this week. No real surprises. Shedeur Sanders, he decided not to throw, but these guys already got it lined up where he's going to come, have the people come visit him on Colorado's campus during a pro day. So it's got to organize to the point where they know exactly how things are going to unfold. So it's no big surprise that Sanders didn't throw. Will Howard, he didn't do so great, but I question the validity of the combine. I think if you play for teams and you got 2-3 years of game film, why is it necessary that this 2-3 day event is more important than what you did over the course of your college career? It doesn't make sense to me. Now, if you're a guy on the fringe and you're unknown, then the combine would be very important. But if you've been playing and you like a Will Howard that won a national championship, or Shedeur Sanders, there's enough tape on you to know exactly what you can and cannot do. So I still don't see the point of the combine. Now, maybe the interviews, that might be something that you haven't seen, but the physical part of the game, you got enough film on that to determine if the guy can play the game or not. But the intelligent part, I can get that. But the rest of it is just more for show than anything else. But what they're saying is Will Howard, he didn't do so great, but it doesn't mean a thing. He's still going to get drafted somewhere and have a good chance to make a roster. The big thing in sports going on right now, they had the big boxing match between Lamont, Roach, and Tank Davis. Tank Davis been having his way for a while, you know. He's undefeated, 30-0, and Roach pretty much outboxed him. But in the end, he ended up with a draw. And what's controversial about it is that the dude turned his back on Roach and stuck his head between the ropes to get something wiped out of his eyes. Well, normally that is a point deduction. You can't do that. But the referee, Willis, he just pretty much warned him instead of taking a point from him. And that point that he didn't take turned out to be large because it would have made the difference in Roach winning the fight. So that hurt him. And the people are questioning now, Willis, why did you take a point from Davis? Well, it's like this. Anytime that you have a champion, you're pretty much going to have to knock him out. And they're going to find a way to give the champion a little extra, I wouldn't say incentive, but they give them an extra advantage to make sure that they have the opportunity to maintain that championship. It doesn't sound right, but even though Roach outboxed him, he didn't outbox him enough to the point where it was clear that he was the winner. But he said he felt like he won the fight. And after looking at the tape, diversity, well, looks like to me he won the fight, but he didn't get the opportunity to do that. But it goes back to what Evander Holyfield said. He said, your job is to knock your opponent out. And if you don't knock your opponent out, then it goes to the judges to make a decision. And then you have to live with whatever decision they make. And here's another example of that. He didn't knock out Davis. Davis didn't get the point deducted from him. And it went to the cards and it came out to be a draw. The good thing about it is most of these fights, they have automatic rematches. And this guy's chomping at the bit. He's ready to get Davis in the ring right now. But true champions, If you whip me the first time, I'm going to make the adjustments the second time, and it's going to be a completely different fight. So even though Roach did great this time and surprised everybody, it doesn't mean it's going to go like that the next time. So be careful what you ask for, Roach. JC, what's going on, man? Yeah. Davis usually, he talks a lot of trash in there, but he acts like he's invincible. But the first thing you're going to do to beat any opponent, you have to rise up to their level of aggression. If you cannot match that aggression, you're not going to beat that fighter. And Roach clearly matched that aggression and exceeded it. But normally when you have guys like the bullies, once you let them know that you're there to fight and now they have to fight, then you see what kind of true talent they are. We know Davis can fight. He's got sneaky power. He knocks people out. But once you get a guy that's determined, like Roach was determined, then it makes all the difference in the world. But now Roach, he's got the confidence in a rematch. Will he be too overconfident and mess around and get caught? Because it don't take but one punch and change the whole fight. I was watching this fight about 25 years ago, maybe 30. I know the guy Mark Breland out in New York who was fighting another New York fighter. I can't remember what his name was. Breland was whipping the dude, and all of a sudden he got caught with one, and lights out. So it doesn't matter. It's just like a marathon. You can be winning the race all the way to the last 50 yards and then blow out a tire. Nobody cares that you led the race the whole time. It's did you cross the finish line? And clearly, if you get dropped in the 12th round by something you didn't see, you didn't make it to the finish line, so therefore you cannot win. So keep that in mind. But word on the rematch, I don't know when that's going to happen, but it's going to take place probably in the next 2 or 3 months. Be glad to see it. But going back to the combine, like I say, no real surprises there. But I will say this. I saw the report on the NFL where they came out and disputed the idea that Kansas City was getting all these calls to go their way. And the study they put out, they're saying that Mahomes actually was like the 7th or 8th quarterback to get penalty calls. But it was enough uproar about people thinking Kansas City getting a clear advantage that the league had to do a study on it. They call it ridiculous. And of course, when you do a study, you're going to put out the numbers that you want to put out. So who's to say that what the league said is actually true? But they address the issue. They call it ridiculous. And they came up with these numbers to prove the fact that they don't go out of their way to give Kansas City or Mahomes unfair advantages. And I don't know if I believe that or not, because there were some situations where it seems obvious that the Chiefs had a clear advantage. But the league said that all teams get good calls and they get bad calls, which I can agree. But I do think that Kansas City did get a lot of calls at critical moments that made a big difference. Did it help them in the end? No. But they'll be back. But one thing that the league did do that I told you about last week, they're coming up with this new virtual eye in the sky system where they're going to spot the ball or undo pileups and determine the spot of the ball instead of using chains. And this is supposed to be more accurate than the chains themselves. That's the next step toward actually putting chips in the balls. That is the only way that you're really going to be able to determine where the ball actually is. Because, once you pile up, referee can't see where the ball is. So they have to use their best judgment. And that's how you end up with 2 different spots. Case in point, we talk about Kansas City getting calls. In the playoff game against Buffalo, the guy that had the clearest vision of the ball called it a first down on that 4th down sneak. About 8 or 9 minutes left in the game. Buffalo was driving, and the way they were going to punch it in. And that would have made a big difference toward the outcome of the game because they had clear momentum. They didn't get the first down because the guy on the other side who couldn't see the ball clearly said that he was short. So what do? They go to a conference, and then New York gets involved, And what did they say? He was short. You can't convince me that that man did not have that first down, especially since the guy that's calling it on the play side that can see the ball clearly said it was a first down. These are the things that make people think that Kansas City get unfair advantages. And it's legitimate beef. But the league came out and addressed it, and they came out with their numbers, and they say, well, this is this, and this is that. But do you believe it? I don't. But Kansas City got theirs, like I told you they would. And I didn't think Philadelphia would beat them like they did. But I know if you keep winning close game after close game after close game, eventually that's going to turn around on you. And sure enough, they got cracked right on the head, man. All right. So the question was, did Roach get jobbed in the Davis fight? Half of you said he did not. Well, Davis, he's going to have to get more serious about his craft. He's not supposed to put things in your hair a couple of days before the fight that can end up getting into your eyes. He knows all these things ahead of time, but yet he did it anyway. And all the other antics that he pulls off hadn't stopped him before, and he's been winning, so why not keep on doing what you've been doing, right? Well, in this particular case, when you stick your head out the ring to get somebody to wipe things out of your eyes, that's akin to taking a knee, which means you lose a point, or better yet, it's the same as a knockdown. And the referee did not charge him with that, and that turned out to be the difference in the fight. Instead of a Roach upset victory, you have a draw. And because it's a draw, Davis still keeps his belt, but they're going to have to fight again. Davis didn't have to fight him the first time. I don't know if he had to fight him this time. I know they have a rematch clause, but you know how boxing is. They never get the best fights. The best fighters on the same class, they don't fight until they get to the point where they're about to hang him up, and they say, "Oh, I need to go fight this guy to make my career." Well, we should have fought that guy 7-8 years ago. It's been a completely different fight, but that's just the way boxing operates. But I think this is going to happen though, and Roach he's excited about a rematch, and he must have seen something that he can exploit from Davis that he can use in a second fight. But I have to warn him though. A lot of times when you surprise somebody like that, they're going to go back and they're going to regroup and change up a few things, and it'll be a completely different fight the second time. That kind of happened with Mayweather. Mayweather had a fight with a Mexican fighter who took him pretty deep, and he caused him problems, and he won a decision on that, and then they got a rematch. Well, with the rematch, completely different fight. Mayweather destroyed him because he made the adjustments necessary to overcome what the guy did to him in that first fight. And Davis has the opportunity to do the same thing. So if Roach thinks that Davis was going to come back with the same fight, he needs to think a little bit deeper than that. And if Davis didn't come back with the same fight, then that's on him, because it should be obvious that you got to make some adjustments. Even in basketball or football, rematches never go like the first game did. And the team that make the better adjustments usually win. But despite all of that, if you got the best talent, no matter what adjustments you make, the talent's going to eventually come through and win the game for you. So just food for thought on that. But just to recap, the Davis-Roach fight should have gone to Roach because the referee didn't properly award take a point from Davis for doing what he did, sticking his head out and turning his back to the fighter without a timeout. That is an automatic point, and he didn't give it to him. And then you had the combine, Will Howard. He didn't do so well, but that doesn't mean he's not going to get drafted. Jackson Dart performed well. Still looked like Cam Ward and Shador is going to be the first couple quarterbacks taken, but Jackson Dart and Will Howard probably going to end up going somewhere. But those old-fashioned drop-back quarterbacks are dying, man. If you can't run the ball, then you got a problem. Oh, I almost forgot. Deebo Samuels got traded to the Commanders. That's a good trade for the Commanders because now they have somebody that can run the football and you can put him in space in the slot to go with the running of Daniels, that can make the Commanders a little bit more dangerous on offense. So it's going to remain to be seen how exactly they use Samuel, but the kid is versatile enough where you can put him in the backfield or in the slot, and he has the speed to put him out wide if you want to do that. So that is a great game for the Commanders. But the question is, how will the NFL defensive coordinators adjust to the way that Daniels plays? You saw it this year with C.J. Stroud. He didn't have the same success he had before because the defense coordinators got a year of him on tape and they adjusted to that. They're going to do the same thing with Daniels. But now that you have Deebo Samuels, that changes things a little bit. So they're going to have a dynamic offense. So if Daniels is able to continue performing the way he's performed and he can get high use out of Samuel, then Commanders are going to be dangerous. They can match up to Philadelphia a lot better. Dallas is already on the way out. And the Giants, we don't know what's up with the Giants, man. So that automatically puts the Commanders in a good position in the NFC East, right up there with Philadelphia. And they're going to score a lot of points next year. But it'll be interesting to see how defenses match up with that. All right. Deebo was a good pickup for the Commanders, experienced receiver and runner. Yes, he is. But one thing I question about that, why would the 49ers give up a player like that? I don't understand. Maybe he's not getting along in the locker room or something. I don't know. But the decisions sometimes these organizations make, they don't seem to make sense to me. Maybe they make sense to you. I don't know. But one last check of this poll, still at 50%. But that's pretty much all I got going on today. About to get up out of here. Wherever you are in the world, appreciate you stopping in and hanging out with me for this sports bite. And I'll be back at you in the morning, if not sooner, with some new stuff for you. And like I said, I appreciate you checking me out. Like and subscribe. Share me up, man. That'd be great. And until next time, this has been Sports for Real with Coach Hall. Have a great day. I got to go to work, so I'm out.